my name's Laura. The subject I'm doing my communications research topic on is nonverbal communication. When the eyes say one thing and the tongue another, a practiced man relies on the first. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Mr. Emerson was referring to nonverbal communication and the importance of being able to not only hear the words that someone is saying, but also the ability to access the body language of the person to gain a better understanding of the complete message being conveyed to him. I have chosen this topic because it's been an important part of my life. My daughter Chelsea was born nonverbal, and at an early age she started creating her own form of communication through body language and gestures. Also, this will be a very important topic for me because I'm pursuing my degree in psychology. I want to be able to have a better understanding of the nonverbal communication with people that I'll be working with. I will be explaining to you what nonverbal communication is and verbal communication. I will tell you the difference between nonverbal communication and verbal communication. I also will be explaining to you the difference type of verbal and nonverbal communication and body language between men and women. Verbal communication as defined by communicating for success is exchange of meanings by the use of the written or spoken symbols of a language system, and nonverbal communication is any symbolic behavior other than written or spoken language that is intentionally or unintentionally interpreted as meaningful by the receiver. An example of nonverbal communication would be when I would be driving down the road and someone's behind me honking their horn, waving their fist at me. Well, it don't take words to know that that person's not happy with my driving ability. Have you ever wondered when the study of nonverbal communication and behavior began? Research started when the 1872 publication of Charles Darwin's The Expression of Emotions and of the Emotions in Man and Animals. Charles Darwin was an English naturalist and a geologist, best known for his contributions to the evolutionary theory. Darwin's study led to the understanding of kinesics, or better as we know it, body language. Kinesics can include facial expression, posture, eye contact, movement, and gestures. Kinesics is a very important part of communication because body language can show what someone is actually truly feeling, even when the words that they say don't match. Facial expressions are a way to know what someone is feeling without the person ever having to say a word. According to the book on communicating for the nonverbal communication, the face is the most intricate of all the channels of nonverbal behavior and is the most complex signal system in our body. The book further explains that this form of nonverbal behavior is the most studied by scientists. Emotions are expressed through the use of facial expressions. Ekman and Friesen were psychologists that worked together to develop the facial action coding system known as FACS. FACS is a method for measuring facial behaviors. They concluded that there are 6 facial expressions and are universal across cultures. There's happy, there's angry, and there's sad, anxious and disgusted and surprised. And each of them is characterized by a particular facial muscular pattern. It's not hard to see that a smile on a face means that a person is happy. And then the same scowl on the same face means that person is angry. As the motions that are shown, the facial expressions can be different than the words that are spoken. The tone of voice is also another form of nonverbal communication. The tone of voice may be contradictory to the words that are being spoken at the time. Example of this would be someone saying, "Well, I just can't wait to go to the dentist." with a sarcastic tone of voice. Men and women seem to be different on many levels, and one of these is in nonverbal communication. Women tend to be more touchy-feely than men. They may touch the person they are speaking to more often. Women also show more intimate feelings than men do. Most men are taught from an early age that they need to be tough. Don't cry. Girls, on the other hand, are taught that it's okay to cry. I have to explain what nonverbal communication is and the difference between verbal and nonverbal communication. I have talked about the types of nonverbal communication and body language, and I have discussed some differences between men and women. I chose this topic because, as I mentioned earlier, my daughter is nonverbal. So I personally know the importance of communicating without using words. The objective for my report was to learn as much as possible about the way people communicate by their expressions on their face and the gestures and body language and the way they dress to use as a tool in my career. One very important thing that I learned was that not only do I need to know what my body language is saying, but also be aware of the other people's body language. As far as that goes, my body language, I don't want to be sending a wrong message, so I want to learn more about that. And be aware. Nonverbal communication, but I also need to be aware of my own nonverbal when communicating with others. I don't want that people that I will be working with in the future to get a different message from me by observing my body language than the words that are coming from my mouth. Just remember, it's not what you say, but how you say it. Well, that